Jeffrey Epstein invested into the crypto marketplace known as Coinbase back in 2014, which we now know about thanks to the latest tranche of Epstein files that were released by the Department of Justice. Now, Epstein, in fact, was aware of Bitcoin as early as 2011, and he saw it as an opportunity, as many did. And so that year, he wrote the following in an email. Amir, the Bitcoin idea is brilliant, but I suggest has some serious downsides, as I'm sure you are aware. If you can find time, please call my office, and then some of the email is redacted. So look, the thing about crypto, well, the way crypto was sold to us is like this decentralized currency, and it's important to like skirt government takeovers and tyranny. Like anytime anything from the tech sector claims that they're democratizing something or they're trying to make life better for ordinary people, just know that it's a lie. The thing with cryptocurrency is a lot of international criminal stuff happens through crypto. So would I be surprised about Epstein being interested in cryptocurrency? No, I would not be surprised by that. But it seems like a lot of people online were surprised by it. Let me continue. So look, it's unclear what he was referring to specifically in that last email that I read to you. But a few years later in 2014, Peter Thiel wrote to Epstein and asked the following: do you think this is the first step in upping the anti-BTC pressure? So I don't know what he meant by that. And there might be smarter people out there who do know. But in response, Epstein wrote this. First, it appears that there is little agreement on what Bitcoin is. Store of, or intrinsic value, if any. Currency, property, architecture, payment system, etc. Conflicting goals, anonymous but transparent public ledger. Like the continuum now in the gender classification, fitting things into narrow boxes seems old school. Man presenting as woman smells like property presenting as currency. Anyway, more when I see you. By the way, BTC, for those who don't know, means Bitcoin. But when I say I don't know what he was referring to, I don't know what he means in upping the anti-BTC pressure. Is that the anti-BTC pressure coming from the United States government? Because there was none of that. Maybe China? I mean, China did go after crypto. I don't know specifically what he's referring to. But anyway, that same year in 2014, Epstein invested, remember this number, $3 million into Coinbase, which is the largest crypto exchange based in the United States. And so that company was founded in 2011, and it currently has an evaluation of $50 billion. So here's how Epstein's investment came to be. So he was corresponding with a man named Brock Pierce, more on him in a minute. And he was an investor over at Blockchain Capital, okay? Now that's a venture capital fund that focuses on Bitcoin and crypto. Pierce himself was an early investor in Bitcoin. And so in December of 2014, Pierce wrote the following in an email to Jeffrey Epstein. I have gotten us allocation if you're interested and able to move fast. Are you available to talk to the co-founder who is spearheading the financing today? And that same month, guy by the name of Fred Ursum, he is the founder of Coinbase, sent the following email to Brock Pierce and Brad Stevens, one of Pierce's colleagues. Here's what they wrote. Would be nice to meet Epstein if convenient. And here's how the investment materialized. Days later, Stevens emailed Coinbase to say that blockchain partners would invest $3.25 million in Coinbase, according to the documents. He then forwarded wire transfer instructions from Coinbase to an attorney who worked with Epstein in an email that referred to a $3 million investment. The attorney replied that it would be made by IGO LLC, a Virgin Islands company that belonged to Jeffrey Epstein. That's Jeffrey Epstein's LLC, okay? An internal valuation report on Epstein's assets at the end of 2014 released by the DOJ lists a $3 million purchase of Coinbase via IGO LLC. under a section for cash transactions. So Epstein's investment of $3 million was less than 1% stake in Coinbase, and he was not guaranteed a leadership position at the company. It's unknown if Fred Irsum ever even met Epstein, but Brock Pierce continued to correspond with Epstein and spend some time with him. Now, the two of them made plans to meet up on several occasions. In 2018, Brad Stevens asked to buy half of Epstein's Coinbase investment. And 1 month later, Epstein did sell his stake to Blockchain Capital for $15 million. Okay, so his investment went from $3 million to $15 million. That's about 10 times what Epstein spent on the initial investment. And so in 2014, Epstein also stated that he would invest $500,000 in a Bitcoin company known as Blockstream. He even invited the company's co-founders, Adam Back and Austin Hill, to visit his island. In an email exchange with Epstein, though, he alluded to tentative plans they'd made to meet in New York that Sunday, but said it was a no-go because of commitments on the West Coast, but added that Friday, Saturday on the island are still possible. In a separate email from Epstein sent to early Bitcoin developer Amir Taki on April 19th, 2014, Epstein told Taki that he'd just had Andy Back, likely referring to Blockstream co-founder, on my island this weekend. So Back, who now serves as the CEO of Blockstream, is now facing calls to resign. We'll see if that happens. But just incredible. Unsurprising though, unsurprising. I mean, this is what Epstein would have crypto on his radar for obvious reasons. And so I think calls for this guy to resign, I think that's fine. But more importantly, I would like actual investigations, not sham investigations, but actual investigations into Epstein's co-conspirators. Because those co-conspirators exist and they walk among us free after potentially engaging in some of the worst criminality imaginable, which is the violation and rape of children.
Don't forget, Noble Mobile saving you a ton of money. So a lot of people are signing up now and beginning to realize, what the hell, why am I paying so much to Verizon and AT&T? So your bill's only $50 a month, but it can actually be less because they give you money back if you don't use your data. So if you're paying more than $50, there's no reason to not switch. It's crazy not to switch because same phone, same number, same contacts, literally nothing changes. TYT.com/switch, TYT.com/switch. All right, we'll be right back.
So that would be the appropriate way to go about this, but unfortunately, we don't have a government that's looking out for the best interests of the American people. And that's a damn shame. It really is.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.